Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and I just wanted to say, before we carve into the turkey and get into all the family moments, I just wanted to come to you guys and say that I'm really grateful to be a part of the credit card YouTuber community, and I'm really grateful to be a part of kind of credit cards, points and miles as well. And so we're gonna get into a little bit more about what I'm grateful for with all this stuff, but I also wanted to just say thank you very much for being kind of a viewer of this channel, and thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you. You guys are all awesome. But now that that's out of the way, first of all, I want to ask you guys to like and subscribe, and then we can get into exactly what I'm thankful for. And so I think the first thing that I'm thankful for with credit card points and miles is that I'm thankful that points make impossible trips possible. So my whole points and miles journey started several years ago when my wife and we were traveling to Tennessee. Now, we didn't actually go on a honeymoon immediately after our wedding, and so we actually ended up going to a week-long trip to Tennessee, and I was responsible for two things: making the rental car happen and making the flights happen. And so what I did was I actually ended up using a Southwest card sign-up bonus. So that was the base model card at the time, so I think that would have been the plus card. And I ended up getting a really nice sign-up bonus. So I had about 100,000 points left over to make that happen. And so my wife and we flew up to Nashville with Southwest points. It was a direct flight, and that was really solid. Now, that was something that, at the time, I was a full-time school teacher, and my wife wasn't doing a whole lot better than that at the time either. And so, having free airfare, having the ability to, use that card to have at least some sort of collision damage waiver protections on the rental car was really amazing. It was a great way to save, probably $400 or $500 or more, honestly, on that trip. And so that really kind of was my first thing with points and miles. And recently I was able to book, a Park Hyatt stay at New York City, where I saved $2,500 a night. And then I was also able to do business class seats last year on Air France for 50,000 points. And those are experiences, honestly, being on an Air France flight and having unlimited French wine and, all these wonderful French baguettes and things brought to you. And it was an incredible experience. And that's something that I really am grateful that points and miles exist, because honestly, without that, it's not an expense that we would actually consider doing. And so this is really solid for me because, well, I'm able to bring these experiences home, not only to me, but to my wife as well. And it's a really great way to travel. And, honestly, being able to kind of enhance our travel and kind of expand our horizons in ways and being able to see new things is really, really incredible. So that's kind of the first thing that I'm grateful for this Thanksgiving. And that leads me into my second thing I'm most grateful for, and that's going to be sign-up bonuses. So far this year, I have earned a lot of points. So my wife and we've earned almost 200,000 Chase points. We've earned 1.2 million American Express points. We've earned almost 100,000 Delta miles and almost 100,000 American Airlines miles, and then a couple 100,000 Hilton points as well. And so with all those points, the vast majority of which came through because of sign-up bonuses. And so these sign-up bonuses, they're huge and they're difficult to manage. In fact, at one point I was doing 6 at a time, but we kind of powered through it and we made it. We definitely made sure not to overstretch our budget. And we have all these points, and it's really going to make a huge difference when my wife and I are planning a multi-family trip to Scotland and then to London and then to Paris for next November. And so we basically definitely have enough points to make that work, probably just enough points to make that work between the hotels and the airfare and everything. And what that's going to do is that's going to make it possible for us to do a lot more kind of experiences on the ground, right? Like we can actually go and do some Scotch tours. We can do some wonderful, incredible dining opportunities that we really wouldn't have had the ability or the money to do so if we were actually paying for out of pocket for our airfare, or if we were paying out of pocket for our hotels as well. And so this is honestly, being able to have intra bonuses for these cards is pretty incredible. And honestly, if you've seen something with that list, you know that the vast majority of my points come from American Express, which means, and realistically, I'm very grateful for American Express. And so that's the second thing I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving. And then the next thing I'm thankful for is for flexible currencies. And so these basically, can be the American Express membership reward points, the Chase Ultimate Reward points, Capital One Venture Miles, and then of course there's Citi, the thank you points, which are the worst named points of the bunch. But what I'm thankful for with these flexible currencies is that we all know that airlines eventually will devalue their currencies. And so by being able to have flexible currencies, you can kind of take advantage of these partnerships and alliances with these airlines. And so let's say that, my British Airways Avios, they don't be as powerful. They're not as powerful, right? Well, I can book those through my American Mile. I can book those with my Atmos points. There's a lot of different ways to book that flight without actually using my Avios in case those become devalued. And so basically being able to earn these flexible currencies is more valuable to me because I'm able to actually make sure that I'm utilizing these points and these miles and these alliances in ways that actually continue to save me money even as time marches on and things become less and less valuable. And so that's really important to me, and that's why I'm really thankful. Another thing that I'm thankful for is hotel elite status. So hotel elite status, for those of you that probably don't know, I'm really into Hilton, the diamond status. And so far, that's been really big for me. My wife and I were able to use diamond status to get access to executive lounges in hotels overseas. And we've also were able to get really, really awesome breakfasts and dinners and things like that. And we actually ended up getting kind of the last hotel that we were stayed at in Paris. We ended up getting an upgrade of a larger hotel room with a balcony that overlooked the Eiffel Tower from our room. And so being able to do that is just huge. And so because, we use that for the point stay. And so when you're booking with Hilton with a point stays, you're in the bottom level room, right? You're in just the king standard room. And then with diamond status, they upgraded us and we were able to get a much better experience than we ever would have without actually paying for it, and it would have been very expensive, right? And so I'm thankful that that is a thing. I'm thankful that we have access to leading hotels of the world and all those wonderful things. And so there's just really, really amazing things to have with hotel loyalty status, and it's pretty relatively easy to get. And then what I'm going to do now is I want to wrap it up by saying I'm thankful for every single one of you. So when I started this on March 1st, I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew that I really, really liked credit card points and miles, and I wanted to talk about it and share it with whoever would listen, And it turns out a decent amount of you actually listen, and for that I'm really, really grateful. And I'm really thankful for a lot of the people that have been supporting my channel ever since the beginning. Chad's Money Minutes was one of my first 100 subscribers, and he's been kind of a continual source of wonderful ability to kind of bounce ideas off of and kind of kick things off of, and that's been amazing. I'm really grateful for Anthony Venture, who he had me on when I was just a couple weeks into it, and that was just an incredible opportunity for me. He's been a really great source of information as well. I'm really thankful for John of John's Credit and Travel, because he's been really helpful in the early days of keeping me still going, right? When you're making these videos and you have 5 people watch it, it's really frustrating, and he was really beneficial and helpful to making me continue. And this has been really a fun ride so far, and I can't wait to see what happens. And anyway, I just also wanted to thank, Mike Newland has been really supportive as well. There's been a lot of people on the live streams that have been really, really supportive, and I just want to say thank you so much for every single one of you guys. You are incredible, and I love this community. But anyway, enjoy, Thanksgiving dinner. I hope you guys have a wonderful family to be a part of. But I just wanted to share this and talk to you, from the bottom of my heart, So thank you for everything that you guys are. And I just wanted to talk about everything I'm grateful for with points and miles. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.